That was sensational. On every single level, it was an annihilation. It was an annihilation. A passive first half, an aggressive, expansive, wonderful second. But I'll tell you why the first half, in many respects, is every bit as important as the second. Bayern Munich came out and they did play with intensity. They were pressing, they were moving the ball quickly. They had, and I took a note down here, 82% of the ball in the opening 12 minutes. When Arsenal took the lead at 1-0, they'd had 77% of the ball. Arsenal's pass completion was only at 67% at that time. But what I noticed is they weren't doing anything with the ball. They weren't creating chances. It was actually Arsenal that was still the more dangerous side, which I thought was really interesting. Arsenal couldn't get on the ball. They were finding it hard to pass the ball through Bayern Munich, but they were able to go direct. Then, of course, Arsenal score from the corner. And I love it when they score from set pieces just because it boils people's piss and I enjoy watching it online. But it was a wonderful cross from Bukayo Saka. More GA in the Champions League for him. And Urian Timber, for me, one of the best right-backs in the world, puts it away. Still strong from their set pieces without Gabriel. Then Arsenal, again, I just thought carried on dominating. And there was almost a second goal. And Eze, and I'm going to speak about the players a little bit later, but Eze today was just fantastic. And there was a touch where he brought the ball out the sky when Arsenal was still playing direct. And he passes it into Marino. Marino then plays it back inside to him. I thought he undercooked it a little bit, Marino. I still think that Eze should be letting the ball run across himself, get it onto the left foot and shoot. Tries to pass it to Saka. Really should have been 2-0. And then Bayern Munich tried something. And it caught Arsenal sleeping. So first and foremost, what I thought was important for Arsenal is going through that period of being under pressure with another team having the ball, but Arsenal looking cool, calm, collected. Bayern Munich, the highest goal-scoring team in Europe this year, the best attacking team in Europe this year, couldn't penetrate. Could not penetrate. That was the pill, that was the coil, that was a condom, a femidon, a chastity belt, and no sex, virgin levels. They could not penetrate whatsoever. And then they caught Arsenal sleeping. There was a fantastic ball over the top. And I'm not sure who played it. I don't remember who played it, to be honest with you. I want to say it was Kimmich. I could be wrong. You'll correct me. There was a great run. I thought it was Elise to begin with. It wasn't. It was Gnabry. He timed his run perfectly. And I thought Miles Lewis-Skelly was asleep. But he timed it perfectly. The cross in to young Leonard Carl, who, by the way, what a young player. What a great player that young man looks like he'll be. It was the perfect goal. Inch-perfect passes, runs, finishes. 1-1. 30 seconds later, same ball again. They're in. And they maybe should have gone 2-1 up. But then this Arsenal team got through the adversity, made sure they were alert to that, saw themselves through the rest of the first half. And you're thinking, okay, what's going to happen here? We know how good Bayern Munich are. Many's favourite to win the Champions League. What's this Arsenal team made of? And they came out in the second half. And I'm going to go into the players before I talk about the team and Arteta. Declan Rice. I don't care if you don't personally like him. I don't listen to Luciano Pavarotti, but he's world class. Declan Rice is a world class football player. That second half performance, his interceptions, his anticipations, his defending, his box-to-box actions. He nearly scores a worldie of a goal by breaking through, powering through that defence. Great save by Neuer. I don't know how it wasn't tapped in at the back post by Saka. Majestic. Eze I've already spoken about a little bit tonight, but he was just a thorn in their side. And as Arsenal in the second half were more aggressive, they held onto the ball and they looked to be the more assertive team. And I think they felt they were actually quite comfortable with Bayern Munich. All they had to do was watch out for long balls over the top. And there was only one, I think they were 2-1 up, where the ball knocked out long to Elise, and Elise took on Lewis-Skelly, who I don't think had a good game tonight. A young Carl did it to him as well. It's the only thing they had to look out for. But Arsenal grew in confidence. Eze shining. Rice, I've mentioned, absolutely fantastic on every level. Bukayo Saka tonight. Just another performance from Bukayo Saka that stands him up as one of the very best wingers in the world. He just is. And he was dangerous. He was breaking ankles. He was creating chances. His crosses from set pieces. How Arsenal, and namely Marino, didn't score at least two. Some from set pieces, and there was a cross from open play as well. Should be burying him. Should have been Bosch in the back of the net. He's very good with his head. And then you're starting to think, are Arsenal going to rue these missed chances? But they're playing really well. And then the manager. Then Mikel Arteta steps up. And he makes 2 changes. Calafiori comes in for Lewis Skelly, who is probably the only smudge on the paper tonight for Arsenal, is he didn't have a good game. But no real Arsenal fan's going to care about that. They're just going to celebrate and move on. They know he'll come good. He comes off. And then Saka was taken off. And the commentators were saying, oh, that's a little bit strange. I looked at it and thought, it isn't. The man is still, I know it's nearly December, but he's had a massive hamstring injury and a small hamstring injury in the last 6 months. It's still important to give him the rest time. And the depth is there. And Noni Madueke comes in. Or Noni Madueke already come on. Noni Madueke came on. Why am I now getting confused with the order of these substitutions here? My brain ain't working. Let me just go and check. No, Noni came on earlier in the game. I'm being stupid for Trossard, who went off injured, right? It was Martinelli that came on. That's what it was. I knew I was getting it wrong. I couldn't quite remember which way around it was. And within minutes, I mean, the intensity remained. The subs fitted in perfectly, and it was Declan Rice again. Anticipates where the ball's going to be played by Bayern Munich. He did it all night. Wins the ball, plays it into Eze, who was at this point had drifted out to the left. Calafiori makes the run, runs into the vacated space, and a brilliant cross. And I was really happy for the young man. Noni Madueke, first goal for the club in one of the best Champions League nights Arsenal have had in their lifetimes. It set a standard, it set a marker, it sent a big message. But Noni actually, until his injury, was playing very, very well. But of course, everybody just goes straight to the, well, where's the GA? It was going to come and the injury happened. Very happy for him. The substitutions, though, Mikel Arteta, take a bow. The right individuals coming on to maintain the intensity, to give him something a little bit extra. Saka might have been thinking, I'd have been there for that tap in as well. But maybe he wouldn't have been. I don't know. It was brilliant substitutions from him. The third goal then comes because Bayern Munich are now pushing. Eze gets the ball. A lovely knock over the top. The substitution again. Moreno probably doesn't get there. Doesn't have the speed that Martinelli does. I don't know what Manuel Neuer is doing. I'm going to give him a pass though because he's a legend. He rounds him. He taps it. 4 goals now in the Champions League for Gabriel Martinelli. And I think he has thrived. Now there's more competition at the club. As they say, pressure can either burst a pipe or it can create diamonds. And Berta's summer transfers, the depth in squad is turning a lot of Arsenal's players that you maybe think were duds or turning into duds or needed to be sold. It's turning them into diamonds. He buries it. Ends up being an emphatic win. Yes, the game of 2 halves, you saw 2 different Arsenals. But barring one perfectly executed move from Bayern Munich and a couple of times where Lewis Skelly got taken on, Arsenal were almost impossible to beat again. And I know that Bayern Munich had players missing. But the reason why I'm going to focus on Arsenal for a moment is a couple of seasons ago, if they lost one centre-back, it was trouble. Gabriel out, it's been no problem for the last 2 games. Which is why, yes, they're going to lose matches still this season, Arsenal. It's going to happen. But I think their confidence is going to be sky high. Wow, we can do this without our best centre-back. Odegaard just came back today, but didn't start the match. No Kai Havertz. No Gyökeres. These guys still to come back to this team. And I just think it shows you the growth in this Arsenal side. Arsenal are now different. Arsenal feel like they are built different this season. And dare I say it, Arsenal are scary. I know a lot of people are going to steal my bar tonight. Probably half of YouTube. probably half the fan cams on AFTV. Probably the mainstream media. But Arsenal are scary. I saw this coming back in 2022. I don't know if I ever thought it would get to this level. Now, all they've got to do is maintain this to the end of the season, win a couple of major trophies, and you're looking at one of the greatest rises in the history of the English game. You certainly are. But that's a talk for another day. Tonight, in terms of the Champions League game, a message was sent, a marker was made, and for me, so far this season, Arsenal have been the best team in Europe. And tonight they proved it. Maintaining it for the rest of the campaign, that's another conversation. But just assessing what we've seen, absolutely fantastic. Now it's onwards and upwards to that Chelsea game. As a neutral to the match, I can't wait. I wanted both Chelsea and Arsenal to win because it builds the game up on a different level. I want to get your thoughts. I want to get your opinions in that comment section below, please, people. But what a night to Arsenal. And the biggest guy, the man of the match tonight, Mikel Arteta. What a masterclass from that man.